I'm going to share briefly 5 teaching tools that I picked up this week, getting the opportunity to go out. And it was all centered around Gary Blair's Invitational Golf Tournament. And so I got to learn a lot. I'm excited to implement all of my learnings across both the systems and the training that I'm going to be doing. But I thought I would distill 5 teaching tools that I learned this weekend for you that are independent of any system. I thought they were really, really valuable and are able to be implemented immediately. One presentation, a leadership tool around teaching, was shared that too often coaches make the mistake of trying to get feedback in large groups. So whether it be a team meeting with players, that's not the time that you want to get feedback from them or hear a bunch of opinions. When doing a coaches meeting, and this really surprised me, but it does make sense now that I think about it. They said if they want feedback or want ideas from their coaches, they said they never do that with their entire group of coaches. He said that anything other than a one-on-one conversation, if there's a meeting with anything more than one-on-one, it's only for informing. So any large group is for informing. They said that they found it's very inefficient and more confusing when you try to get feedback or opinions or ideas in a large group. This coach said that they have found a lot of success in getting ideas and feedback one-on-one with very clear and direct questions, not like, hey, Claire, what do you think we should do? But assigning Claire in advance, Claire, I want you to evaluate our defensive rebounding strategy and come with your ideas on our meeting tomorrow. And then head coach will inform the coaching staff of what they're doing. So large group is for informing, small groups is for getting opinions and ideas. As a leadership tip, really like that one. Second one, as a leader, always provide your opinion last. So let's say I'm coaching Micah one-on-one. If I bring him over and I say, Micah, I think that you need to play off 2 feet more. What do you think, Micah? Well, I've already provided my opinion and it's already directed because of my position of authority as the coach. It's already kind of directed what he's going to say, right? Or directed him to make an excuse, as opposed to always providing your opinion last. Hey, Micah, what do you think you should do when you get in the paint against the contest? Hear his opinion, then provide your opinion. Or even if it's something like, deciding, whether you're going to travel the night before or the day of. If you say, I think we should travel the day of, but I want to get your ideas. So a leadership tip of always providing your opinion last if you want true feedback. Okay, this next one I thought was one of the most powerful takeaways, that a well-coached team understands can't or won't. A well-coached team understands can't or won't. If you've done your job and you've taught player roles really well, you've taught expectations really well, that's the only question that you need to ask them. At the end of the possession, it might be, Claire, is it that you can't do it or that you won't do it? Right? If Matt's not going to class, Matt, is it that you can't go to class or you won't go to class? When you can distill everything down to can't or won't, then you have a chance to be great. When you ask the can't or won't question about rebounding, about defense, about bolting to your spots, about shot selection, can't or won't, is that you can't take good shots or that you won't take good shots. When everything gets distilled down to can't or won't, you'll know this because then players will say, I just didn't. So if I asked Tina, is it that you can't make quick reads or that you won't make quick reads? And if Tina answers, I just didn't that time, that means that Tina's gotten to a place of responsibility and ownership. When they say, I just didn't without excuses, that means they understand can't or won't. And so I think it's one of the most powerful questions and tools, can't or won't. And when players can get to I didn't, then you've got a chance of being good. Collecting good words. One coach came up, and I think I have it here, gave us a manila folder and said, I want you to become a collector. He said, as a coach, our skill set is our language and our communication. And he opened up his manila folder and he had sheets and sheets and words written on the manila folder. He said, this is my collection of good words, good phrases, sticky language, good articulations, great compliments. He said, as a coach, I collect good words and I put them into my coaching, into my teaching, into our team's vocabulary. And these good words became the language of their team. This is what we're going to be known for, whether it be on offense, defense, how we learn, how we interact with each other, good words. And I think that it's really powerful as a coach to collect good words, make them a part of your shared language and shared understanding, because culture is kept in the conversations that people have and being able to use the same language. All right, here's the last one. One of these Power Five coaches went through their worst losing streak in their 300 win career. And they said that they did this thing called the Tough Player Club, and it was the best thing that they did. Basically, he selected his 5 toughest players. He coached guys' team, his 5 toughest players, and the ones that if he was going to die, he would trust to keep him from dying, to save his life. And he brought him into his office and said, "Hey, you're the 5 toughest players. I trust you." He's like, "And I trust you enough to ask you this question. What do I, as a coach, need to do differently in order for us to be successful?" And like the first coach said, or the first player said, "Hey, when we're cooking out there, don't pull us out." Second player said, like, "Hey, you need to be harder on us. You're not tough enough on us." And then went on down the line. So coach said, "All right, I've got these things written down. I'm committed to doing those things." He's like, "Now I'm going to give each of you one thing that I need from each of you." And he told them the one thing. He said, "You're my tough players club." He said, "If at any point we're not going well," he said, "I'm going to go to you first, because we're dying as a team and I might die as a coach. I might get fired." And so he said that, for the rest of the season, whenever, on in a game when they weren't bringing effort or energy or whatnot, he would just call them over. He said, "We're dying right now." He's like, "You got to save my life." He's like, do this. You're not doing these things. We're in practice. He's like, "We're dying right now." And he said that they had a weekly meeting as the Tough Players Club, and it became like a badge of honor. And it really turned around their season. And I thought that would be really powerful if every year, every team had a Tough Players Club that wasn't the whole team, wasn't just the captains, wasn't the best players, but was just the toughest players. And it raises your level of toughness and competitiveness with a group within a group. So those were 5 quick teaching tools that I thought could serve you. I'm going to give one bonus. This is another one. So one coach said that they take these note cards, and at the beginning of each season, they give a note card to every player. And they asked the players to write down at the top of their note card the answer to this question: where am I going? And each player for that season was writing like, where am I going? What journey am I on? It's kind of in lieu of goals. But then the next thing is they asked them to write down, okay, what steps do I need to get there? And they give the players time every single week to pull out their card, look at it again, and remind themselves of where did I say I was going? And then to change their steps, check off a step, write a new step. Because so often over the grind of a season, both we as coaches and players forget where we're trying to actually go. We get distracted with, I'm frustrated with this thing, I'm stressed about that thing, I'm not getting as much playing time, or whatever. And also trying to make these things really, really actionable. And I thought that was really, really cool, the note card piece. And sometimes we give new note cards. And, I think as a coach, I think that's really, really important as well, to remind, all right, where are we going and what are the actual steps I'm taking to get there? And so I think that was another little tool that could serve you, and just wanted to share.